Alright, what is up everyone? I'm Faloki and I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to be doing some more NFL content. Hopefully the NFL and Madden content will come to an end relatively soon. I don't want to base my whole channel around Madden. I've been really focusing on the NFL trades that have been happening though. I'll probably do another video on what the Seahawks have done over the offseason, which they haven't done much so far, so we'll see what they do, if they make any big moves or any trades or any signings. I'll probably make a video on that once the offseason is basically wrapped up, just before the draft. But other than that, hopefully I'll get back to some normal content with some other games, maybe just some things of me messing around, having a good time. I don't know, trying to figure out what path I'd like to take my channel into. But right now we've got Madden 20. I've done most of the big roster moves that have happened. Tom Brady signing to the Bucs, the Colts getting Phillip Rivers, Teddy Bridgewater to the Panthers. Here, I'll just show you. I've done DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals, obviously Tom Brady to the Bucs, like I said. Cardinals, they now have DeAndre Hopkins. The Colts should have Phillip Rivers. Yeah. So basically I just did most of the big trades. Darius Slay is on the Eagles as well. 49ers no longer have DeForest Buckner. And really, that's about it. I've just did the biggest of the big trades. Like Stephon Diggs is now on the Bills as well. So the biggest of the big trades, the things that I've covered in recent videos that I've done, and other big signings, I did those. The small ones of like offensive linemen going to different teams, and like smaller players that probably could have an impact, like Jason Witten or Jimmy Graham. I didn't do most of those. I just did like the big ones. So basically, I'm not gonna do anything to change this team around. I'm controlling the Bucs because obviously they're the main focal point of the video, with Tom Brady being signed to there now. But I'm just gonna simulate the entirety of the season, and we'll just see how everything goes. I'm not gonna make any changes. I just want to see how Madden thinks that the next year in the NFL will go, because who knows, we might not actually get to see the next year of the NFL. Hopefully we will, most likely we will, but we don't know how long this no conf is going to continue to go on, so we don't know if that's going to delay the NFL season or what. But let's just get right into it. I'm going to sim to the mid-season. We'll see the mid-season stats, and then after that we'll simulate to the end of the season, see who the MVP, see who the people in the Super Bowl, who wins the Super Bowl, all that. And yeah, so let's just get into it. I'm going to sim to mid-season, and I'll see you then. Alright, so I sim to mid-season. We're now in week 9, and some bad news. Tom Brady has not led the Buccaneers to the promised land. They are 2-5 on the season, and it's not looking great. When we go over the stats, let's just see what the stats are. The Saints are 8-0, which is crazy, because they really haven't had many changes. I mean, they lost their backup quarterback, but that doesn't really matter in Madden. So if we go to stats, Tom Brady is 22nd in the NFL in passing yards and 19th in passing touchdowns. His interceptions are pretty high for mid-season. He's played 7 games total, going 2-5. So if he continues to play the rest of his games like this, he could surpass 20 if he goes a little bit over, but maybe he'll get everything back in check. I mean, I haven't changed the schemes. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the scheme for the Buccaneers is just bad in the sim. Let's check out everyone else. Let's see for the Colts, how's Phillip Rivers doing? He's 16 touchdowns and 6 interceptions and over 2,000 yards. That's levels. That's better than Tom Brady. If we go to what other team has made changes? Well, let's just see the Saints stats. Yeah, 25 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. That will lead you to an 8-0 start. If we go to the Panthers, they're still starting Cam Newton. I probably should have changed it to where Teddy Bridgewater would start. The Bears are probably not starting Nick Foles either. Yeah, I mean, Mitchell Trubisky isn't doing great, so I wouldn't be surprised if they switched it. But if we go to the entirety of the NFL passing, of course Andrew Luck will be leading the league in yards at least, but I forgot to take Andrew Luck out. My bad, but he always ruins that. If we go to rushing, Todd Gurley on his new team with the Atlanta Falcons he's 5th in the league. Yeah, he's 5th in the league for rushing yards. Touchdowns, not great. Then again, rushing stats are just really weird in Madden. If we go to receiving, Julio Jones is number 1 in receiving yards. Antonio Brown has made his way back into the league, and he is on the Vikings. They have filled their spot with a locker room problem in Stephon Diggs, with an even worse locker room problem in Antonio Brown. If we continue to go down, can we find... Christian Kirk, the teammate of DeAndre Hopkins, is actually above DeAndre Hopkins, apparently. DeAndre Hopkins has 448 yards with 2 touchdowns. Slow start to the season for DeAndre Hopkins. We'll have to see what happens by the end of the season. And defensively, I don't really care too much. I'm just looking at the big name players. I did make the big name defensive switches. We'll check those out at the end of the season. But now, let's just simulate to the playoffs and see what the season stats are. I don't think the Buccaneers are going to the playoffs, so I don't think they're going to be Super Bowl champions this year. Alright, so we're here at the end of the season, and as you can see with the practice players being signed, the Buccaneers did not make the playoffs. They were actually worst in the NFC South. They were the worst team. They went 5-10-1, so they had a tie, and that was against the Falcons. So if we go to stats, let's see if Tom Brady picked it up. 10th in passing yards, 31st or 11th in passing touchdowns with 31. So picked it up a little bit. His interceptions for the second half of the season, he only had 6 interceptions in 9 games. Not bad. He definitely picked it up. He picked up his production. Not a great season under Tom Brady Sanders when it comes to interceptions. You'd like to see him have it lower, but what are you going to do? He started off very poorly, so for him to bring it back is a good thing for him. Drew Brees just blew the league out of the water. The Saints probably going to win the Super Bowl in this sim. They just seem unstoppable. Andrew Luck, of course, had a great season because Madden just doesn't know what to do with him. Phillip Rivers, 4,500 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. Not a bad season for with his new team. Phillip Rivers didn't do great this year with the Chargers, so maybe next year we will see him have a better season with the Colts, but with less weapons, I would say. Well, it'll be interesting to see. Tom Brady, not that high in the league, about where he was this year, right around middle of the pack. He's actually 10th and 11th is definitely better than what he was this year. I think his touchdowns and his yards were low this season with the Patriots. No more quarterbacks to show you. I don't think that, they stuck with Cam Newton. They stuck with Mitchell Trubisky. So if we go to rushing, let's see where Todd Gurley ended up. Todd Gurley ended up dropping in the ranks with still almost 1,200 yards rushing in a season. Touchdowns very low, but Madden Sim very broken. If we go to receiving, let's see where DeAndre Hopkins was. DeAndre Hopkins still pretty low in the receiving numbers. Stephon Diggs almost had 1,000 yards. Not bad season for him. DeAndre Hopkins, 843 yards, 7 touchdowns. Not great, but obviously Madden Sim is just very questionable now. Just kind of looking for the big players on defense. Let's go to interceptions. Let's see who led the league in interceptions. Darius Slay, he had 3 interceptions, tied with just about every single cornerback or free safety in the league. Yeah, and that was really it. So if we go to sacks, DeForest Buckner, I assume he won't be here at the top of the list, but he also was traded over the offseason. 8.5 for DeForest Buckner on his new team. Not bad. So basically those are the stats. I mean, not super interesting. It's the Madden sim. You'd assume Tom Brady will be better with the amount of weapons that he'll have, and obviously Andrew Luck won't be there. Madden sim's a little bit broken, so let's just go to the Super Bowl, see who wins it. I'm just going to stick with it because it loads pretty fast. So it's the Saints versus the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And seeing as though the Saints went 11-5, let's actually see what the entirety of the NFL was. So the Colts actually were the #1 team in the league with Phillip Rivers. And the Ravens and the Saints both are 11-5. Of course, the Ravens are going to be really good when they have Lamar Jackson because this game loves Lamar Jackson. And for good reason. He's a great player. And he'll probably lead the Ravens to a lot of success in the future. So, as you saw, Ravens-Saints Super Bowl. Seeing as how good the Saints were with Drew Brees' stats, I'm going to say that the Saints will win. And let's just see who wins the Super Bowl. I'm going to put my money on the Saints. And it was the Saints, 38-35. A good Super Bowl matchup. So that'll conclude this video. This video was mainly just looking at Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, but I decided to also make the roster changes to make most of the big moves so that we could see the main players in free agency, how they'll do with the new trades and signings that they made. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave it a like. Leave a comment saying what you think if you enjoyed the video. That's about it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.